Hello, and welcome to another episode of Dave Trippin'. I'm digging through my emails again, and I got a few, and I'm going to answer some questions today. This one is a question I get asked a lot, and it's about money, real simple answer, and it's how much should I bring over when I'm coming to teach, because a lot of these companies have different suggestions that they make when you come over, and it goes from probably too little to probably too much. And I can say with experience, not being a totally frugal person, that I think I meet that sort of standard for the everyman or every woman, depending on who you're speaking to, that would come over and teach here. So let's jump into the email. There are a few other things that I'll touch on, but I will discuss that as well. So, due to the costly expenses, people recommend us moving to Fujisama and have a job in Tokyo. I'm imagining, Fujisama, that's like move to Mount Fuji and then get a job in Tokyo. Is that a good idea, or should I just live near my workplace? Also, about how much money should we take? There's the money question. What is an average price for apartments like the one in your video? What was your experience with the first month living there? How did you get used to it? How did you adapt? Also, what are some tips to help us that you wished you would have known before you moved? All good questions. So the one that I discussed first, we'll answer first, which is how much money to bring. Now, I think kind of the average that they suggest that you would bring in Canadian, so I guess it's a little less in American, which would probably be more the standard, was $5,000. And I found that to be excessive. I think that you could actually arrive with about $3,000 and you would be fine. A lot of ALTs or AETs coming over to teach here are having to pay key money, brutal, having to pay first and last month's rent. So you do have quite an initial chunk, but even then, I would say that this $5,000 number, that is if you have that ability, but don't feel like if you don't, say you're just shy of that by $1,000, say you even have, as I say, the $3,000, you're probably, I would say you're going to be fine. Not even probably. I think you're going to be fine. So don't worry about bringing $5,000, although you can convert that to American to kind of get the figure if you'd like. So around $3,000, you'll get by fine. It won't really be tight, but obviously while you're waiting for that first paycheck, things won't be tight, but you'll need to be conscientious. That's how we'll describe this. At $3,000, you can still totally do it, though. People can probably do it with less, but I wouldn't want to recommend that, because then you're starting to get to a point where one person might not be able to make it while another could, and I'm trying to advise on a sort of standard that would allow most everyone to come over and maybe be a little tighter but not have to worry too much. Okay, so yeah, about $3,000 I would say. $5,000 would be ideal. Cicadas are singing to us again. They'll be on the way out soon, I'd imagine. Okay, what is the average price for apartments? Now, like you probably know and can already guess watching this video, the range depends probably first and foremost whether you are living in a city or in the countryside. Now, if you are living in the city, say Tokyo, then if you want, it gets pretty tough, because then you have something like what region of Tokyo, because there's cool neighborhoods and there's not so cool neighborhoods. I would say for a cooler neighborhood, you are easily looking at about 100,000 yen, and that's probably for a space that's shy of 400 square feet. If you are willing to minimize and get an efficiency of space, then I think that you could probably get away with something closer to 60,000 yen a month, although it would be small. It wouldn't be in a neighborhood that was quite so cool. So that's if you're living in a city. Those are some like rote figures just to kind of ballpark it for you. If you want to check out, I've talked about this in another video, a really good website where I found my most recent site. It's like homes.jp. It's that simple. And they have tons of different listings there, and it doesn't matter where you're looking. It's by prefecture, then by like, you can even search on that website by line, by railroad line. So if you want to know exactly what station you're going to be at, you could use this site to pinpoint that when you look for a place to live. Now, like I say, that cost, that size of space that you're getting for 100,000 or maybe 60,000 if you're lucky, at 100,000 in a cool neighborhood, you're looking at something shy of 400 square feet, although it would be a nice place. And then in a less popular place, you'd be looking at God, you could be going down under 300 square feet for that 60,000 in a city like Tokyo. That covered, we can talk about the countryside. The countryside, of course, has a higher standard of living for less. Where I've moved into my place now, I suppose I'll link the apartment tour that I did for that, for any newcomers not checked it out. I'll link that in the video there. And for my place, it's a building built in 2016. I've got 50 square meters. That's like a nice sized bedroom. That's like a nice sized kitchen. Well, you can see in the, I don't need to tell you, you can check out the video and you'll see 50 square meters is a ton of space. And I'm paying, what am I paying? I'm paying 55,000 yen per month in a brand new building. I also live in the least desirable prefecture in Japan. Figure that out. I've mentioned it in other videos. But that's a trade-off I'm happy to make. Maybe it's not as cool, but I just train in to wherever it is that I need to go, right? So I don't care if it's not so hip and so cool. Because I love saving on the money. Saving the money. I love the additional space that it affords me. Let's see what else we got here. What was your experience in the first month living there? I just loved the first month that I was in Japan, because this was a goal that I had in mind for so long, and then to finally arrive at that goal with no prior experience. I'd never even visited Japan beforehand. It was a dream. It was a dream come true. It felt absolutely surreal. And I loved everything about it. Every cultural detail stuck out like a sore thumb in the best way. So it's really good. Soak that up. I've said it in other videos as well, that you don't want to kind of let that pass you by, because how quickly you become acclimatized. Maybe those mean the same thing. I'm not sure. Write in the comments. That thrill, although you can experience in different ways, there's nothing so amazing as that thrill when you initially arrive, because it's a tabula rasa. It's a blank slate. So it's amazing. Absolutely wonderful. Enjoy it. Savor it. Get a kick out of it. Okay, how did you get used to it, and how did you adapt? It's so simple. If you have an open mind and it was your interest to come here in the first place, adaptation is as much as patience, a simple patience for things that you don't understand, and don't take personally the little errors that you might make. Everybody knows when you've arrived that you've just arrived, and so if you make a simple mistake, like you visit somebody's house and you didn't take your shoes off in the right area, unless they're an absolute dick, they're not going to hold it against you. And if they did hold it against you when you've just arrived, then don't care about the opinion of that person, because they're not worth your time. So adaptation is really only a matter of being open and minded and embracing the fact that, of course, you're going to make mistakes. That's half the fun when you arrive. Also, what are some tips to help us that you wish you would have known before you moved? I suppose that's moved to Japan in general. The biggest one, and I'm probably going to make a video dedicated to this in more detail to talk about different companies and stuff, but it would have been that if you should so desire to stay in Japan for a greater period of time than 1 year, then it's in your interest to move into a better job. And if you've not come over with something like Jet, where the salary is oftentimes higher than one of these larger dispatch companies, say you've come with Peppy Kids Club, say you've come over with Interact, these two spring to mind, you want to look around at your options almost immediately for that next year. And I would say at about the, call it 7-month period, if only for practice, start applying to different places and interviewing. And educate yourself about the different jobs that are out there by looking at the different resources that you have, like ohiosensei.com, like Gaijin Pod, even, as though that's popular and oversaturated. But start to educate yourself early on about what your future job opportunities might be now that you live in the country. That's the advice that I would offer. Get on top of it sooner, recognize your value, and that once you're already here, that even makes you more desirable, because you've likely got a visa, and that's not then a headache for the company that'll hire you. You've gotten that taken care of while you were out of country. So there's a few answers to a few good questions. Thanks for checking out the video. Please do like, subscribe, and share should you enjoy something like this. As well, write me an email. Get a hold of me if you have any questions about life, death, the meaning of the universe, and as well teaching in Japan, if that's something that you have questions about. My contact's down below. Clearly I'm making videos to answer them now, and I'll probably turn it into a video and get back to you. So thank you so much. Probably check out the previous video that I posted on the site. I'll link that up after this. It'll show up. Sexy little section at the end of the video. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Ciao for now. Thanks for tripping with Dave. Peace.